Well, hello everyone. I am about to start a new reading vlog, and in this one I want to read 3 YA horror/thriller novels. And I had this idea because there's 2 books coming out, or they just came out, that have like very similar titles, and so I was like, if I find a third one that kind of fits this theme, that would be a fun reading vlog. So, the books I want to talk about here are Small Favors by Erin Gregg, which is a dark fairy tale retelling. Then we have Wicked Little Deeds by Ellis, which is a YA horror thriller that is more of a contemporary setting. And then we have Broken Things by Lauren Oliver, which is an older book that I had on my wish list, but I wasn't really sure if I would like it. But I am interested in it, and I think that one centers around 3 girls, and one of them is dead and the town thinks the other 2 did it, or something like that. So that's the 3 books I want to read for this vlog and talk about. I don't have any of these in physical form, so the first one I'm gonna start for now is Wicked Little Deeds by Ellis, and I just got the audiobook for it, and yeah, I'll let you know more about it as soon as I actually started listening to it. But I hope you have fun with this vlog. Happy Halloween, and yeah, until the next update. So I managed to listen to the first 90 pages of Wicked Little Deeds, and I thought I'd give you a quick synopsis of what this book is about. This follows a girl, I think her name is Ava Thorne, and she is from a very wealthy and famous family in her town. They lived in this huge manor, but a year ago her parents were killed in an accident, and she was there too. She got scars on her hands, and it's now 1 year after that. She's living with her aunt and uncle. They just had to sell their manor and move into a smaller house because they can't afford it anymore. Because, you know, her parents are dead and their business is not running as smoothly as they thought. And the kind of nemesis family of the Thorns, the Millers, have bought the manor and just moved into that. And now there has been a dead girl found on the grounds of the manor, and there is this kind of ghost story that is connected to the manor about a girl called Sadie who was killed there as a teenager, and her eyes were missing, and it is said that she now haunts the grounds. And with the girl that they found, supposedly her eyes were also missing, so a lot of people in the town now start thinking about that old ghost story again. And I guess more shit will go down, but that's like the main setup of the story. So far I'm really liking it. I think that Ava is kind of a relatable character. Obviously, she grew up very wealthy and quite happily, but now she has lost a lot. She has to face poverty and also reflects on how her life has changed and how she wasn't the best person when she grew up because she never really valued the money she had. So this is, just a character that I think is easy to follow in a YA novel. She is a bit edgy. I think she describes herself as a goth, and she obviously suffers from the trauma of losing her family. Even though it's been a year, she's clearly not over it, and now losing the family estate as well just really puts her in a bad mood. She does have a couple of friends. She has 2 friends she works with in this gas station, and these 2 friends are a lesbian couple, and then she also has a male best friend who lived across the street from the manor, so he's not her neighbor anymore, but they're still friends. But he seems to now get involved with the new kids that live in this manor, the Millers. So we'll see. But yeah, I think that so far the book really has that kind of creepy Halloweeny vibe. The town is described as being quite wet and cold. You have this river and a waterfall, and it is winter, or at least it is very cold. So yeah, it definitely has the vibes that I was going for. So I'm very excited to keep listening to it and tell you more when I've listened to more of the story. So I listened to a little bit more of my audiobook Wicked Little Deeds, and I just wanted to give a quick trigger warning or content warning because this book has a very visceral car accident scene with a fatal outcome, so people are dying. I don't have a problem with that, but I can imagine if you've ever been in a car crash that this could be very difficult to read because you're in the main character's head as it happens. So keep that in mind if you want to pick up the book, that it is just one scene, but it's like, you know. What I liked about this scene was that it also discussed the like last time trope. I don't want to call it a trope, I don't really know what to call it, but you know, when things happen for the last time but you don't know it yet, that you don't appreciate it because you can't. And I thought that was very interesting, just to throw that in there, because I think now with COVID we can all relate, because obviously when we were in the cinema the last time before COVID, or in a restaurant the last time before COVID, we didn't really know it would be our last time before the pandemic hit and there were lockdowns and mask mandates and stuff like that. So obviously we didn't really appreciate it, and maybe have thought back to the time and were like, oh, I wish I had known, and then I would have maybe gotten some extra popcorn, or I don't know, you know? So obviously when someone important in your life dies, you have a lot of these situations where you think, well, that's the last thing I said, or that's the last time we did this and this, and I didn't appreciate it enough. Because obviously in the moment you don't know it's the last time. And I think that this is a very, just a very horrible feeling that was brought up in that scene. And I think it's just good to discuss this and show that it's completely normal that, you know, you may have said something stupid, or you may have been annoyed at the situation. But you just couldn't know. So that's it for this update. I don't want to ramble on too long, but it's the first day of fall today, so I'm a little bit excited. So I'm now pretty much 50% through my audiobook Wicked Little Deeds, and I'm really enjoying this book. I must say that I think I still like Harrow Lake more right now, but Harrow Lake is more of a horror, where Wicked Little Deeds seems to be more of a very atmospheric, creepy thriller, and so they are definitely different. And I think that the atmosphere is really what is great in Wicked Little Deeds. I really like the town, the setting, the estate of the manor. It has like these very interesting vibes, and I hope that we will learn more about the supposed ghost soon. But basically this is now a murder mystery. It is looking at who did it. So it has definitely some dark, twisty vibes to it. But I'm not quite sure what the supernatural parts will actually be. I can imagine this be not supernatural at all in the end, but we will see. I do have a couple of theories now, and I hope I'm wrong, because some of them are a bit iffy, but I feel like my brain always comes up with the weirdest ideas. So I hope that I'm wrong there, and I'll let you know. Obviously no spoilers. Maybe I will do a little part at the end where I tell you some of my weird theories. in the spoiler part, we'll see. But for now, I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. It's exactly what I wanted for this time of year, where we're going into the autumnal feels and the spooky, creepy vibes of October. Great transition, and I love it. So I have less than an hour left of my audiobook Wicked Little Deeds, and I found out who the murderer is. I will do a little spoiler part later where I talk a little bit about it in case you've already read the book, but I just wanted to say that I did have a kind of prediction quite early on, and that prediction was right, so I guessed who the murderer was, but I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it is a little bit disappointing, to be honest, like with the motive and everything. I just feel like I was expecting more, especially after Harrow Lake, where I thought that the whole motive behind the things that happened were more understandable, I guess. And in this one, for now, I feel like it's just a bit boring. So I still like the book, but I think right now it will end up being like probably a 4-star, because I enjoyed the atmosphere, I enjoyed the characters, but just like the solution right now is a little bit lacking for me. But I do still have about an hour, like 50 minutes or something, that I will listen to tonight while I do the dishes and stuff, and then I'll be done with the book and give you my final verdict. We'll see what happens in this last hour now. But yeah, I just wanted to give that quick update now that I just found out. So I have updates. Last night I finished my audiobook Wicked Little Deeds by Ellis. I decided to give it 4 stars. As I said, I was a little bit disappointed with the conclusion of the murder mystery, but the vibes were still very strong in this one. The atmosphere was perfect and I loved the characters. This one also has a little bit of a romance plotline, but it's like minor. I still liked it. I liked the dude and I liked the kind of way it went. So yeah. Overall, really enjoyed this one. Still think that Harrow Lake is the better book, but I'm definitely intrigued to see what Kat Ellis writes next. And I promised that I would do a little spoiler part now where I talk about the kind of ending and what my prediction was. So if you don't want to spoil it for this book, just skip ahead. I will chapter this video, so you will see when the spoiler ends, and you can just jump ahead to the next part where I talk about the next book that I will read for this reading vlog. So, spoiler. My prediction was very early on that it would be the uncle. Now, I think when I really thought that it would be the uncle was the moment they had this thing in the art class where the main character thinks that Freya did something to her chair to humiliate her, and the uncle was on Freya's side, which was definitely the point where I was like, there's something fishy going on between Freya and the uncle. And obviously they try very hard to make you think it is Hamish, the counselor, but that was so obviously a red herring. So I was like, oh no, it's gonna be the uncle and he's gonna have this like secret thing with a minor and it's so gross and stuff. And I really didn't want this to be true because I thought it was just such a lame thing. But then, when the finale happened, it was even worse, to be honest. I mean, there were things that I think were done well, for example, with the coffee. Like, there's this one moment where the main character drinks this coffee that she likes in Dominic's house, and she's like, oh my god, it tastes so much better. And when you're in the finale, you're like, oh my god, now it all makes sense, with her coffees being poisoned by her aunt. But still, the whole they just did it for the money thing, no, it just wasn't for me. And honestly, I really liked Carolyn, and I felt like she must be the best actress in the world to do all of that behind your back. And I mean, I have the worst stepmother, so I know people that stab you in the back, but still, I don't know, I just didn't really like it, and I thought that the motive of the money was just so weak, and that honestly, the idea that they even started with poisoning her father, that's like so wide range, like such a long time, like over a year they tried to get to that money. Like seriously, I don't know, that just did not really make sense to me. So yeah, I found the ending to be a bit disappointing, but that's gonna be all I'm gonna say. So if you've read the book, let me know what you thought about the ending, if you thought it was clever, or if you're like me and you're like, not really. So yeah. Also let me know whether you think that Sadie took Carolyn, or whether it was just in the main character's head. Moving on to the next book I want to read for this vlog, which is Small Favors by Erin A. Gregg. I just finished the book. No, I just started the book. I maybe listened to 20 minutes, so I'm not really far in. But this is the next book I will pick up. It's a dark fairy tale-esque story, so I'm very intrigued. I really liked House of Salt and Sorrow, so I hope that I will like this one as well. It reminds me of The Village, this weird horror movie. It's now old, but when I was a teenager, it just came out. So it kind of reminds me of that setup. But I will let you know more of the main story when I've gotten a little farther into it, because then I can, share a little bit more information on what it's really about. But for now it's giving me huge Village vibes. So I am more than 25% through Small Favors now, and I thought I'd give you an update and a little bit more of a synopsis, because I think when I started the book I wasn't really sure what this would be, and that's something that I still feel like I have no idea what this story even is. I'm not quite sure whether it's good or bad, because I feel like I'm just, going along with it, but I'm lacking a bit of the excitement, especially after reading Wicked Little Deeds, which was super short and fast-paced and fun. This one is more whimsical, slow in the build-up, and I still don't have a good grasp on the world. So that's kind of my feelings for now. But what is this book actually about? So we follow a girl called... I wanted to say Ava, but that's again the last book I listened to. What's her name? Ellery. And she lives in this small town in the woods, and they don't really have a connection to the outside. It's kind of a settlers feeling, so they try to provide a lot of stuff for their own. So Ellery's family are the beekeepers, and so they produce honey, they have huge fields of flowers for the bees and stuff like that. Ellery has a twin brother, Sam, and then two smaller sisters, and it's kind of the summer where Ellery and her brother have turned 18. They are supposed to be adults, but as you may know, when you're 18, you haven't figured stuff out yet completely, and basically bad stuff starts happening in the town. It is said that there's monsters in the woods, and this town becomes even more secluded than it was before, and we just follow that. And as I said, I still don't quite understand the world, because they have these runs to other cities where they buy supplies, and there they buy stuff like cocoa powder, sugar, and stuff like that, coffee as well. So it still feels like very recent, but it has that fairy tale aspect. It's just a bit weird in the world building, so I'm just intrigued to see where it finally ends up being, you know. But yeah, it is definitely an atmospheric book, but it is very slow to start with. As I said, I'm now about a third in, and things are just picking up a little bit now. So if you want to read this book, don't expect like a thrilling page turner. This is more like a fairy tale, like a dark fairy tale, and you just watch things go wrong. There's a few things that I have theories about. For one, we have a guy that becomes kind of a love interest, and my theory is that he's some kind of fae or something like that. He just doesn't feel human at all, the way he talks. And then there's also a girl that appeared. Ellis saw her once, and there's also some stories that make it seem like there is a girl somewhere that nobody knows, that's kind of hidden, and yeah, we'll see. So there is some creepy bits, or like at least some mystery bits going on there, and I do like the dark fairy tale feeling. It just takes a little bit to really be compelled by the story. But just now, as I listened to it, something really, really terrible happened, so I'm intrigued to see where it goes from there. And what I feel like with this book is that it's not very tropey at the moment. So it's very hard to tell what will happen next, which is mostly good because you can be surprised by the plot. So that's my feelings for now. I will update you once I'm probably more than halfway through, and we'll see. So I am now 50% through my audiobook Small Favors, and it's definitely building up. I felt like the beginning of the book was quite slow, and you just follow this family and this town and you don't really know where it's going, but you just see things going wrong, and now it just gets more like sinister and creepy by the minute. A lot of things are happening, and we just had some like, yeah, actually creepy scenes now, and also some things where I'm like really intrigued to see where that will go. I think I've already said that one of the characters, I'm pretty sure that he's not human, and we had a scene with him that really manifested that, and I'm pretty sure that he's something else. But the question is what? So we'll see. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. It is a book that you have to spend some time with and just let it build itself up. But I think if you have the patience, it will probably pay off. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what the second half of this book does, and I will definitely keep you updated. Also, the character that I probably like the least, like I definitely wanted to punch him a couple of times, is the twin brother of the main character. He did some really, really stupid stuff, and he definitely behaved like an asshole a lot. So yeah, I can't really understand the main character because she's very forgiving. I mean, it is her twin brother, but on the other hand, I wanted to punch him a lot during the like second quarter of the book, I guess. So yeah, that's that. So I am 75% through Small Favors. There's definitely still a lot of secrets to learn in this book. I am enjoying it a lot. It definitely has its very own atmosphere and secrets and those like village vibes. We've learned some secrets now, so it's definitely going towards the end. I do enjoy the romance a lot in this book. I think it has this very sinister twist to it that I very much enjoy, and I do like the way the main character feels about that romance as well. I think it's very realistic, and apart from that, there is certainly things that I dread reading about or listening to, especially with the main character's brother and the former best friend. They're both characters that are just so angry, and I don't want to say for no reason. I feel like with the brother, it's definitely for no reason. He's just an asshole. The best friend has some reasons, but still it's kind of misguided because it had nothing to do with the main character, basically. And that's just the parts that I dread the most. Also, this is very light on the horror aspects, because a lot of the like creepy, gory things the main character doesn't see with her own eyes. She just gets told what happened. She does have some encounters that are creepy, but it's never really scary, I would say. It's really that like dark fairy tale twisty feeling, and I do enjoy it for that, but don't go into this book expecting it to be a horror. It's definitely a dark fairy tale. So yeah, I have only 3.5 hours left to listen to. I'll see how fast I can get to it, but I'm enjoying it. I still feel like the House of Salt and Sorrow was a bit darker and creepier, but it was lacking in the romance. So in this one, it's a little bit shifted. I think the romance is more interesting and better, but it's lacking a little bit in the creepy department. So yeah, I think this will end up probably a 4-star. We'll see what the ending does now, but I am enjoying it. And I think if you're into dark fairy tales, this is a book to pick up. So I finished Small Favors. I decided to give it 4 stars. I really liked it. I think it is a very solid dark fairy tale retelling, and the ending was definitely very wild. There was a lot of things going on, some action. You were definitely fearing for the main character. Also, I felt so good that one character got what they deserved. I'm not gonna say more because of spoilers, but oh man, did that character annoy the hell out of me. So yeah, I think it was overall a very solid round story. I liked that the ending was still a little bit open, but yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I think that I especially like the romance, the main character, the family dynamics, and the whole idea of these monsters that is very reminiscent of fairy tales like Rumpelstiltskin. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I would recommend it if you're in a mood for a more slower, darker story. So that's my take on that. So last night I started reading Broken Things by Lauren Oliver, which will be the last book that I discuss in this vlog. I managed to read about a third of it, not quite, so I'm a little bit more than 25% through. This one follows 2 girls, Mia and Bryn, and they were accused of killing their friend Summer when they were around 12-13 years old. And this follows them 5 years later when they return to the town. I think Mia never left, but Bryn tried to. And they find some new clues and try to figure out what really happened to their friend Summer. This is a very interesting book because I didn't really know too much going into it and I wasn't really sure how I would like it, but so far I really like it. It basically has this fictional story by another author, so you have kind of like a book in a book, and these 3 girls were obsessed with that book when they were around 12. and they always wanted to write a sequel together, and they saw themselves as the three main characters of the book. And basically they wrote this sequel slash fan fiction about it, and they described the way that Summer was actually killed in the end in that story. So that's why everyone thinks that they did it. But it was Summer who mainly wrote that story. So yeah, it's all a little bit mysterious. It definitely has some creepy vibes. They used to play in that shed that was like really apart from anything else, just on a field somewhere. And one day it just turned into the world of that book that they were obsessed with. And when the murder of Summer actually happened, they tried to go there with the police, and then it was just back to a shed. So they don't really know what they imagined, because, you know, when you're a child, your imagination can be pretty wild. So it's all very mysterious, and I just like the aspect of that book in the book. And I'm excited to read more of this. It's very fast-paced. I don't think it will have like a ton of character development. My favorite character right now is Abby. She is great. I want her to be my best friend too, please. She is a fat character, and she's also a very famous influencer, and it's just funny. I just love the way she goes through all of this. She's not really connected to the case, but she's the kind of new best friend of Mia. So as I said, it's just really fun, fast-paced, and slightly creepy. So I'm excited to read more and let you know what I think. So last night I passed the 200-page mark of Broken Things, so I'm now about 50% into the book. I'm still enjoying it. I haven't really changed a lot of what I thought about it. I think it has a good pace. The beginning was a bit, faster, and now it's a little bit in a lull, but not too much. So I'm still enjoying the ride. And now some new characters come into play as well, who might be able to help solve this mystery of what happened to Summer. And it doesn't really feel like it has super high stakes right now. So I'm interested to see how that changes. But I also just understand these characters that just want to know what happened to their friend. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a very fast read, definitely flying by, and I'll keep you updated when I've read more. So I have less than 100 pages left in Broken Things, and I wanted to give a quick update. I think that, as with many thrillers, this book had a very strong start, but then it goes into a bit of a lull in the middle, where it's more like about the people and the drama, and they do have a couple of leads, but they all grow cold very quickly. So last night I was like, what if in the end you don't find out what happened? That would be bold, to say the least. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I'm off to the finish line with this book, and it is good, solid for YA thriller. I still think that there's probably better books out there, but it's a very quick read, and yeah, you definitely want to know what the hell happened to Summer. So I'll let you know once I've finished it, and we'll see how I like it in the end. So the lighting isn't the best, it's quite early, but last night I finished Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. I decided to give it 3.5 stars in the end. I think this is a very fun and fast read, but I must say that the mystery in the end wasn't really that convincing to me. I didn't really like we have a little time jump at the end and then it just falls into place. Like there isn't much of like an investigation going on, it's just all coincidence. That's something I just don't like. I want the people in thrillers to work for the solution, but yeah. It was fun, it was fine. I really liked the kind of epilogue bit. I really enjoyed the way that was done. And I think there's some really cool stuff in here as well, as I said before, with the book in a book kind of thing. I think that could have been used a little bit more to create more of an atmosphere. Yeah, it was just a very quick read, so I feel like some parts could have been expanded a little bit more, but overall it was fun. It was an enjoyable time, and I think for YA book this was definitely solid. So this would be all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of a vlog style where I read 3 YA kind of thriller, darker books. Let me know which one you are most interested in now. Leave a like if you liked it, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!